Falcons. We are going to continue talking about partitioning shapes today. And I had to move our poster because I needed the bottom half and we couldn't see it when I had it on our other easel. So today it's on my wall and we're going to use this, so hopefully it works. Now we know that this word partition is a super important word, and I know that I might ask you or your teachers might keep asking you what the word means. So we're going to go over it one more time so we make sure that we know what the word partition means. Partition means we are dividing shapes into equal parts. Now on the seesaw activity you did last week, some of you said that partition means that we are dividing shapes into halves. Now that is right. But that's not the only way to partition shapes. And today we are going to talk about another way to partition shapes. So let's go over what we know already and then we'll go over the new information. So partition, dividing a shape into equal parts. And we know that that equal is super, super important because if we had a customer coming into a bakery or a pizzeria or anywhere, or if we were sharing with a sibling or someone that we love, we would want to be able to have equal shares. I would be super upset if I got a really small piece of cookie when my sister got a huge piece of cookie. So we have to make sure that they are in equal parts and they are the exact same size. Now we've talked about half or halves, and that is when we create two equal parts of a whole. So we have one half, another half, one half, one half, one half, one half. So we have two halves that go together to make a whole. But today we're going to be talking about fourths. Now say it with me, fourths. Fourths means that there are four equal parts of a whole. So instead of having two like we do with our halves, we're going to have four equal parts. Let's start by looking at a circle. When we talked about halves, we had a circle and we decided that in order for us to have equal parts, what we could do is fold it in half, and that would give us one side that's equal to the other side. So we have one half and another half and they are equal. And we decided that we could cut down the line and make halves. Now with fourths, we can do the same thing. We can fold it in half and then we can fold it again, and that will give us four equal parts that are this shape. So let's go ahead, and if you look really, really closely at the circle, you'll see the lines that we're going to cut on. And we can cut on these lines, and we will get four equal parts. We'll get fourths of a whole. Here they are. So now we have our four equal parts, and we can put them together on our chart, just like we did with our halves, to see that they do make a whole when they come together. Hopefully you'll be able to see them. There we go. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. Now we can do this with a rectangle too, and there's a few different ways we can do this with a rectangle. Here's my first rectangle. And as you can see, it has 4 sides, 4 vertices like we talked about earlier when we were talking about the attributes of shapes. So I can fold, just like we did our circle, I can fold my rectangle in half. And then we know that if we're trying to make fourths, we have to fold it again. So I'm going to fold it again. And now look at the size of our piece that we're going to have. So we'll have 4 pieces the exact same size because we're partitioning equally. So if we fold it out again, and we look super, super closely, you'll see the 4 lines that we have to cut on. 1 piece, 2 pieces, and 3, 4. So now we have our fourths of a whole, and we can put those together to make one whole again. They are all the exact same size. Now another way we can do this with a rectangle is we can fold it in half again, and then we can fold it the other way. So we can fold it horizontally. So first we're folding it in half vertically, and then we're folding it horizontally, and that will give us 4 pieces that are the exact same size. We'll have fourths again. I'll cut on those lines that we've talked about. And that will give us our fourths of a whole, of a rectangle, one whole rectangle. Let's put them together. I'll show you the gray side so that you can see it. And then there is one more way that we can make fourths with a rectangle. We can take our rectangle And instead we can partition this rectangle horizontally and fold it in half. So I could just keep it in halves, like this rectangle up here that we did. But if I'm trying to make fourths, I'm going to fold it horizontally again, and look how this time our fourths are longer and thinner. So I can cut these fourths. And then we can tape them together to see that fourths make a whole out of 4 exact same size pieces. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we have partitioned our circle and our rectangles into fourths.